Somebody told me sleep is the cousin of death, I gotta wake up. So I open my eyes with a dream in the book, I gotta chase him. Struggle makes 100 miles and running feel more like a million. More pressure, I ain't never backing down and letting up, fuck you then.
And we're live. Jamel, hey man, thanks for like I was just telling you, man, thank you for taking the time out today. As we were talking before we went live, you're a busy man, and and unlike most fighters, we see it all the time, and I think that's what's great, and I think that's what attracts you to a lot of people is that you show the behind the scenes,
right?
And you're active on your social media, and you actually talk back to your fans, man. What basically just what makes you do that? Because a lot of guys don't. Like, what about you is so different that you actually do?
That's the thing right there, man. I feel like a lot of fighters, athletes in general, they just don't communicate with those who support them. So I look at it like, I'm just a regular dude. You see where I come from. I came from the bottom pretty much, and I always been the same. So it's like, I was told myself even when I got to the to the top of the mountain, I would never change who I am. So if I'm a people person, I'm going to continue to be a people person. You know what I mean? So I like to interact. I keep people up to date what I'm doing, of course, like you pointed out, dude, bro. And that's just me, man. Like it doesn't take that much. It only takes you but maybe a couple of seconds out of your time to, to reply back to somebody, or a few moments, or a few minutes. It's not going to kill you, and that's just how I look at it.
That's good, man. Because like I said, it's a lot of folks out there that just don't do that. And you obviously being who you are, as you stated, where you came from, to where you're at now, like for you to just take your time out is awesome, man.
Right.
I mean, I believe that's how you and I had first connected some years back. I had heard a lot about you. Manuel Lopez had actually talked a lot about you.
Shout out to my man Manny out there.
Shout out to Manny Lopez. He talked a lot about you. And that's how I had kind of got into like, okay, this is who this guy is and so forth.
Right.
And then obviously, following on social media there, met you in person, and honestly, I mean, I want to say that even the last time I had went and I was in the gym with you guys, I had taken a young kid out there to spar with you in Colorado Springs. And even still, like when I see you, you got like this like pit bull face. You almost like standoffish. I was always like, man, like this dude's like, he's so cool on social media, but you see him in person, he's just got that like mug on him. do a lot of people still approach you when you're out?
It's crazy, bro. Like for the most part, people still like, me, like once I get warmed up and everything, like, because like in the gym, it's like everybody's about their business. So like after we finished sparring, we was all talking, laughing and up and everything. But for the most part, people, when people come up to me, I don't, ever, shy away. I'm like, hey, like literally, I'm out here in Omaha right now, and somebody happened to know me in Walmart, and I actually just stopped, spoke. He was an MMA fighter, and we were just, speaking about, our professions, and he was cool with that. He, what I'm saying, and he was grateful about it, and that's just how I am. But like, like it's like, of course, like especially with Bud, especially the worst, bro. Like he always has the demeanor on him, even when I'm around him. So I don't even know if he's, how he's feeling, but the minute he opens his mouth and starts speaking, that's when okay, he's chill, he's cool. But I guess that's just how, like as man, that's just how fighters are at times. Man.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking, as you said, you ran into a dude who was an MMA fighter. Are you a mixed martial arts fan? Do you watch it?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Like it just grew on me, man. Like because at one point in time, let's say maybe about a decade ago now, not too long ago, they always had that those two bases, like, the boxing fans and the mixed martial arts. Like me, I just learned to appreciate it because, there are similarities in terms of like the lifestyles and what we go through, leading up to fights. So, I actually tuned in and I actually shared my support and said that I believe that like, organizations like the UFC and Bellator, I feel like as they do more for the women than we do for ours in boxing, and I respect that because, like I said, man, I just respect the craft, regardless of the gender. These women out here grinding, more and more for their combat sports as well.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Because we do in the boxing game, we do have a lot of great women fighters that just don't, like you said, get a lot of that pub and don't get a lot of push because it's so male dominated.
Right.
I think it's gonna take somebody who like a Clarissa Shields, who is a good friend of yours, I seen, to continue to push and break down that boundary. You know, because again, there's good like fighters like that. Sinisa Estrada.
That's my girl. Shout out to Sinisa, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to Sinisa, man.
cute.
I'm actually gonna have her on here in a couple of weeks. You know, she as you another one crazy busy.
Yeah, man. But like Sinisa actually, like say you point out Clarissa, but like Sinisa actually made me, you know, I always respected women in boxing, but like when I watch Sinisa and her, like how mean she can get and her aggressiveness, and like she like how she attacks the body better than some dudes out there at times. Like Sinisa, like I feel like she hasn't gotten that exposure yet, but her name is getting out there. And like, you know, because like I watch a lot of her fights, and like Sinisa, you know, puts a lot of women down. And like people also gotta remember they're fighting 2-minute rounds, but she's getting her guys, her girls up out of there just like that from just body shots and and vicious attacks. And then even her fight with my teammate, my 2012 Olympic teammate Marlena Esparza, that was a good fight. That's probably one of the best fights on that card. So I think like if we get more action like that from our sport and boxing with the women, they'll definitely start to get their just dues and respect.
Speaking of that fight, do you feel like it would have been a different fight if the headbutt wouldn't have caused that massive cut that Mr. Esparza had?
I don't know, because like the cut basically came in the end, and then when you like we all know boxing, we go by scorecards. I thought. Now, I did thought the fight was a back and forth fight and it was close, but if you watch it, I felt that a little bit that Sinisa her presence was was starting to show more and more as she got deeper into the fight in those later rounds. But it was definitely a good fight, and I wouldn't mind seeing the rematch. But I don't think the cut, because like I said, they went to the scorecard and like crazy, like the judges had it out there for Sinisa, of course. So I don't think even with the cut that by that time it would have changed the outcome of the fight in terms of the scorecards.
Okay. So before we actually dabble into what's next for you and kind of what's going on, I mean, I would be remiss if we didn't at least touch on the George Floyd situation.
Right.
Things that's been going on. I mean, I definitely see you're active in talking about it, at least kind of sharing some stuff like that. Just give me your thoughts on it, like as a whole, obviously from where it started to where we're at this moment.
I kind of get conflicted on all ends because, as you know, I have a military background. So, I served and defended the country. But it's like at the end of the day, I don't just look at things just for just for blacks. I look at it for, Hispanics going through it, especially these last few years. It seems like Mexicans been like, the target of hatred for, this or that reason. And I just feel like, everybody in this country pulls their weight at the end of the day. We all breathe the same air, and it's just like we're not like, for the most part, people, they're not angry just to be violent for no reason, and people just fed up. It's just fed up. It's like why can't we get the same equal views and shares at the table as our counterparts at times? So. It's just a messy situation, and it's sad to see that it takes tragedy for people to really, because you see now people come together of all races, which is great, but it is sad that it takes tragedy to see people even get to that point where you have unity, and that's how I look at the situation, man. It's just sad overall.
So do you feel that so basically with all the looting and things as such that have been going on, I mean, in the beginning, I definitely feel that it was necessary to a point.
Right.
I feel that it shouldn't have been. It should have just kind of went where it went for about a day or two and then stopped. But we're to the point now to where it's. I feel that it's taken away from George Floyd. Like, it's not about George.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's the issue I got right there. Like I said, I posted on my IG. Like, we got guys coming out there with Batman costumes on. It's like now people are taking it, and they're just using it as like a publicity stunt, or or they're doing it for their own selfish needs. Like, went from protesting, now we just basically people out there just destroying their cities and acting out of characters, and then people like. At times when you watch these videos, you lose sight on what was the main cause and reason for all these, this whole chaos to begin with. So yeah, I definitely agree that it's got after after the second day, third day, it just went on to you just see more cities being burnt down than actually than more peaceful protests. But at the end of the day, like people when you do look at the protesters, they get to the point where they're saying, look. we've tried to be peaceful, and look what happened. You know, we tried to protest through sports. We tried to protest through kneeling. We tried to protest, just as they say, peaceful marching, and it's gotten nowhere. So people, as time goes on, people get more angry and angrier, and they just sometimes they find themselves getting out of character and, like I said, becoming the cause of the looting and the rioting and the fires and things of that nature. Man, I think like at the end of the day, everybody just needs to come together as one and really sit down and hear people out instead of judging before anything.
I agree. I agree with that too. I was talking. We had a sit down the other day with a few friends from back home, who again, the majority of my friends back home from where I grew up, they're all African Americans. So that's really everything I hang out with. So I was really curious as far as to their take, because last night I had pretty much my best friend from back home. So they had set a curfew in Denver yesterday.
Right.
For an 8 p.m. curfew, and that
they just said that here in Omaha from today 8 p.m.
Yeah, because I did see something about a protester got shot in
I heard that too, man. It's crazy.
Man, wow. see, but this dude, so when he found out that there was a curfew, he basically, because he was in the military as well, so he pretty much geared up, strapped up, got in his car, went downtown after 8 o'clock to basically look for trouble. And again, not a type of person like that, real calm, real cool, real laid back. So he went out looking for trouble. So that was, again, something that we had to do, pretty much stop him from like, hey man, like you can't be doing this type of like you're almost feeding into the stereotype in a sense, and it's getting to the point to where, ain't gonna be no rubber bullets waiting for y'all no more. It's gonna get serious. You see what Donald Trump and stuff like that's doing now with his looting, equals shooting and shit like that. So that's why I said, a lot of this shit has to stop before actually more people end up dying than need be.
No, I agree, man. Like I said, I see some cities are calling in the National Guard now. You know what I mean?
Can you hear me still?